apparently you are working on this new concealer strategic plan. So just go on. I'm gonna give a brief introduction of who I am. I'm a professor here also at Tech. I'm an architect. I started working at Seven. It's a big company here. Yeah, it started worldwide. And I started as a project manager. And then I think I've got the decision to change completely to the other side and study European. And I went to Germany, Tessa. No? It's the only thing you can do. Study. There's nothing else in Tessa. And I stayed there for 2 years and worked also in the sector. Then I moved to Spain. Then I returned. I was planning to return to establish a year, but they called me from state government. I decided to stay here. Here we need more people than in Germany or any place in Europe, so I stayed. I stayed for 3 or 4 years working there with Jorge, Ignacio, and other people that worked there. Many of us were very young when we started there, and now we continue making things even though we're. And part of those people that what Ignacio said is they are trying to encourage us to stay. It's hard. A lot of people fall in the third, but we're trying to make things. After that, I started my own firm, and then I was asked for what it's called Consejo Laboral. It's a strategic planning state council. They invited me to be advisor full time, and I started working there 3 years ago when it was still an idea. And that's what I'm going to talk about. So I'm working this plan have 5 main topics. One is sustainable development, and project manager also. With another person, we are taking part of the security plan also, and human development. So 3 of the 5 main parts of the book, and helping to do it. And I'm going to talk how it was created. There's something important to say. I know that there are going to be a lot of questions. A few answers. It's really new, this concept. More in Mexico. I just know 2 similar things. One is in Jalisco. But it includes NGOs. We have no NGOs. There is another council called Consejo Cívico. It's like the NGO of NGOs here in Colombia. How I could say it's like here involves the people who tries to change things. I would say from white collar, from senior CEOs, trying to change the city. That's what makes it also different from other states. When President of Mexico knows about his thing, he encouraged us to build a methodology and everything, so they can develop it in the other states. But it's really hard because here the CEOs of the companies are really united. It's not common to have that. That's the power that has this council. It's supported by many companies, and it's half from the state and half from the iniciativa privada, the private initiative.
Why is the NGO council separate?
The
You said the NGOs have their own council, and then this one is a private.
It's don't, it's really difficult for us to receive anyone that wants to be part of it. But anyone can be part if it's part of an NGO. We include NGOs,
Okay.
but not persons.
Okay.
We invite to make the plan NGOs, but we send a letter and we ask the president of the NGO to include 3 or 4 people from its own NGOs to participate.
But for this, you need a legal,
Sure.
status, and having a legal status in Mexico, I don't know if that's very easy.
I'm going to talk about it, so the legal status. I'll start from the goals, why they create this council. The goals is to link knowledge and best practices to public policy making. That's why it's important that this initiative comes from citizens, people who know about strategic planning, but in companies, and it's really different to make strategic planning private than public. It has maybe similar roots, but it's not the same. So we have to have both things. Also, some part of it's theory, but the real practice, more in at least Latin America, it's really hard to do both things and make it work. So the other thing is long-term planning. It's maybe it sounds strange, but it's a real thing. There is no strategic planning for long-term. Not in states, less in municipalities, and we would like to align social efforts and the interests. Here, interests, we could underline, because there's a lot of critics when people heard that this comes from private sector, but it's really open, at least what I have seen from the inside, so there's no particular interest. Sometimes they invite people who know they have particular interest, so it's better to have it in than to have it out, because they become something really difficult to compete with them. And the other thing is we have to use metrics.
In this context, is lobbying a thing in Mexico like it is in America?
Lobbying?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
But these types of councils don't provide this platform.
Legally not. But we have
No, obviously legally not, but you know, by selecting certain players to be part of it and whatnot. Like, is there? I don't know. I wonder. It's great for a company to be a part of a platform like this and then sort of form but it's also got its own interests, right?
I think what makes it difficult to have particular interest is that a lot of people is working there. So I'm going to talk about how we develop the plan. There's at least 600 people working in the plan, but everybody is worked like in a participatory way. We are only 6 people working for council full time. All the 600 and the other people who participate here are involved in that. We invite them to be part of it. Juan Ignacio, Rodrigo Crespo, Luis Gerardo, also. So many of the people that have recently presented are part of it. So we have a lot of specialists, academics, a lot of people who really knows about the topics. And the other thing is maximizing the work of the chambers and NGOs. That's where NGOs could get in, not people. NGOs. Also, there's another interesting thing. We invite ¿cómo se dice el puesto?
Position?
The position, not the person. So maybe in an NGO or in a chamber, there's a president of this chamber of, I don't know, sustainable development. week by the president. So it's always changing, so that maybe keeps certainty that there is not going to be specific interests. I think it's really difficult to keep a point.
How did you finance the project?
Yes,
Sorry.
let's go through some slides and I think, you know.
So here is one important thing about this plan, that it's enforced by local law. This was the hardest thing to make to start, because it was in the past administration of the last governor. It has been last week in jail for a few hours. You know, you can imagine how difficult it could be to establish a strategic plan and tell them what to do. For sure, they have their own interests. So we couldn't start it in those administrations, but at least we have the law. So it was like, check the first point, because without a law, this couldn't work. Even though with the law, maybe it doesn't work. The governor just keep it out, it's going to fail. So there was a second regulation of the law in 2015, and the law established the objectives, that it's promote long-term planning, accountability, vision strategies to focus the efforts, measure and assess progress towards stated projects and goals, and promoting dialogue and agreements. So the first thing we have to develop was the plan. This is nothing new. I think worldwide there's a lot of examples of plans like this. Even though here in Monterrey, in 1996, there was the first effort to have at least the lines we have to follow, but it was just a paper. It was no law, it has a lot of things that now it has. Many people that work there, or that pushed for those initiatives, are still here. So that's interesting. After 30 years, we still try to change things. And there are a lot of historic things that tell why it's so important to develop this thing and why having this at the end polished, it's a big effort. A lot of years before. And the board of members, it's about 16 members, plus technical staff. These members are the president, it's the state governor, 6 citizen councilors, one that it's the chief of the staff, and the other five councilors or members are presidents of each subjects. There are 5 councilors, 3 from the power, that are the executive, the legislative, and judicial. I don't know if it's well said, judicial. And the other 3 principal, the other 3 are the 3 principal deans, the main universities here in Tech, public university, and 1 federal government representative. President of the Senate of Mexico, and the permanence of the councilors, it's we would say chair, staff. We have this administration, I think. There's one slide I'm going to explain much easier. So I'm talking about the operating model. There's the executive, legislative, and judicial, civil society, universities, and NGOs, 5 commissions, I think, subjects, and the technical staff. This is where I belong. There are 5, 6 people working in technical staff. So we are the ones who
Can you just go back to the previous slide, please?
are the 6 citizen councilors.
So you include the, but the businesses themselves, you know, the Chamber of Commerce or something like that, they don't have a specific chair. It's included in the system.
Inside each commission subdivided, and they invite more chambers, and it's becoming specialized as it goes growing. So it's mainly the same thing.
So this civil society, or that there were 6 positions for social participation and civil society. And how are they selected?
They look, there's like a specific, it's for example, in sustainable development, they look for a person who has moral acceptance in society, who has the capacity, that has the time, and also that knows a lot of strategic planning, and that could push people and bring in more people to make it. So there's something interesting. I'm not sure if it's here, but ready? In each commission, they have one civil society person and one position, secretaries or secretary from government, state government. For example, here in sustainable development, we have in Antonio Rosua, he's developer here, and here they have like a secretary of infrastructure in the state. It's not the person, it's also the position. And below here, to show, we have 4 sub-commissions. In each sub-commission, we have more secretaries. So this helps not to be so theoretical and not so ground level. Because what we found is that it's really hard when you got in government to keep the view of the long term. Day to day consumes all your effort. After 6 years, you just notice that you have changed. If you take all 6 years, because it's continually changing. So here are the 5 commissions. You can see we make this like a part-time. We think that without basis, the other 3 wouldn't work. Wouldn't work if you work only in the 3 at the top. So we need governance and transparency. We need security and justice. And after we have these things, or at the same time, if we can have this, we have human development, sustainable development, and economic development. It's interesting because when we start prioritizing, we make an open process. We have at least 15,000 people making this prioritization. We're internet, personally, and what we discovered is that the most important thing for people is to have a good job, well-paid job. So people ask, why not having health, education? It also has to do with it's not education as an academic point, it's education as a cultural point. What are the goals for people? And that's the difficult thing to change how things are going on. It's not just a matter of saying where to go, we need people. So the clue of having a good plan that works is how you involve people. If people it's not involved, I think it's going to work. So that's the hard thing. In this year, it's a year we're trying to make this open. If you want, we can discuss which fit. You have this presentation. It's also here. I'm going to left inside inside the file. Please feel free to ask me. I'm not sure if I have the answer, but I will try to answer. How we work. This is not a council act. It's looking and trying to punch government. We try to collaborate. Punching the government. We also have the other council that it's the NGO of NGOs. So I think the effort, we could say it's like a pyramid. It's like the effort is going from top and also from bottom. So we have to push both sides. So we can push government to go in a good way. If we just push from top or from bottom, it's going to have different ways of going. And the other thing is the trust between, I think, or at least my paper here is to be like a bridge of trust between citizens and government. So that's the difficulty, and I think it will cost a few years to understand this kind of art. I think it could be said to be the bridge between those things. It's really hard, and more I'm sure any part of the world, but at least in Latin America, it's really hard. Mexico also. I'm not going to show it. I could explain a few examples of how it works and how it's not working. I think we're going to discuss more sustainable development. As far as I saw topics of the IGLUS topics, it has more to do with sustainable development. So I will try to be faster with this and explain more in detail that part. So for developing the plan, we have at least 250 meetings. It's not just numbers. So we could explain how difficult it was. We have at least 600 experts working on it, 40,000 hours, people involved, working hours, 15,000 citizens, and at least 11 months. It looks a lot of time, but it was really a rush time to develop a plan for the next 15 years. And at least for the beginning, we said it's okay 15 years for strategic planning. It's just a few years. We think we have to develop it at least for 30 years. We're going to open it next year. Each 3 years it's open, so we can adjust it. Now we have strong effects. When we develop, we know what's going to happen. So we open it each 3 years and adjust. And also the councillors change every half of the administration, of the state administration. So that gives continuity against other ways. If we are the same, it was for sure that governor or the interim governor would put people near from him. I'm going to explain a summary of each commission. We develop, I think this is what always have done in strategic plan, develop a mission, I'm going to personalize here. But for example, the mission is to promote sustainable development of Mulan with a long-term vision. So this saying we want good things for Mulan, it's the same. So it's so general, it couldn't. Sometimes it's hard for people to understand that it has to be like this because it's a strategic plan. It has to be like another thing. For making it, we start with Boston Consulting Company to work. And after that, we invite McKinsey, a worldwide company. They develop a strategic plan for in London. That's the one thing we also did for Rio. Rio also is, yeah, they develop a lot of plans like this one, and we have well established and failures also. So they have a lot of experience in making these kind of things. And what they always said is that also that people or citizens have to get it. And also that we need inside government, outside delivery units, center of government that would be set. And that was the first difficult thing to develop. We couldn't have till now a delivery unit inside government. So we developed one this year inside Consejo Modelo. And we established the vision for the next 15 years. It was how the essence, the reference points. I'm not sure if it's always like this, but I have an idea. Mainly here in Orion, we always try to compare with OCDE and big ones. I think we have to first start walking. At least we have to be near Mexico City, near Jalisco, before we try to compare with the big ones. It's okay to have a big goal long term, but we have to start with small goals. So we have at the end complete the big one. This is what I want to show. It could be very simple to see it, and very logic, but it's really hard for people inside the government to understand that we are working for a long term for administrations. They only have 6 years. So what we need to know from every administration is how they're going to move to that phase in their 6 years. And after having this strategic plan or this developing plan from the state, it's always done. We have to know each year what are they going to make and how they are going to move the indicator that we improve. So that's the hard thing. And also where they put the money. If they put money, and if they put money, like mobility, that in the talk, there's a lot of talking about mobility, federal, local, state government, but in the moment, there's no money for it. Everything goes for cars and developing other things that are more strategic and are more aligned with what's happening worldwide. So that's how we think we push, all of these NGOs and all these chambers and all these people that have certainty of where we have to go. Maybe we could make some change. That's why I said at the beginning, I don't have answers. Recently studying this, I hope in 5 years I can send some advance. If you want to come 15 years, I hope we have done. And also, we receive information about where they plan to put the money, and particularly each year we work aligned with our strategic opportunity areas we found. There's another thing. We prioritize the goals. We have 47 strategic areas, but we have 15 years to develop. And the administration has only 6 years, and maybe they have 200 areas they have to work on. So that's the big difference between what we develop and what government the administration has to reach. Each commission has developed a strategic plan. It is the process we follow. It's a common process of strategic plan. Into detail as you want. And we start with human development commission. These are the main goals, the main things that we work on: social development, education, health, arts and culture, sports, citizen participation, and values. Values, we are trying to make it transversal commissions. I think that we have to put special interest in changing the way people, like we were punished when we saw that what people wanted was more money, not the public benefit, or maybe health or other things. So it's a long-term work, not 15 years. I think it will take more. But we have to work on the other ones at the same time. So it's a hard thing to do. For example, in social development, what we make also is to make this like frame, macro frame,
Logical framework for maintenance.
to develop, to prioritize the things, the goals we were looking for. So what I'm going to show are the main goals we developed, prioritizing. That's why there's not all things. It was a long-term prioritization. At least in each commission we will take 5 months, working at least 3 or 4 sessions weekly. And here, for example, it's eradicate extreme poverty, reduce urban poverty, prevent family and community violence, achieve social employment, and enhance the scope and coordination of the third sector. What you would see on all those things that are still general. That's why it's so difficult to explain to them. We used to say that we are 30,000 feet flat. We have to develop in each one the detail of how we're going to go on it every year. Education. What we also think is that here it was so huge that we have to put some of these things inside the others. For example, sports could be health, arts and culture could be inside education. Maybe they would be out, but only if you have vision that has to do with art to change all the other things. If we don't have the vision, we have to put art inside education. That's why we're going to change it a little bit this one next year. Increase coverage of early and preschool education. We also have the detail for screen in Spanish. If you want, I can send it.
So everything that's in here is actually in the state's ability to change.
That's why it was part of the prioritization of activity.
Like
It's part of
things
the
that
state.
you could change at the state
Also,
level.
if it's like even also political, not easy, but factual to change it. So that's why how we prioritize. Also, we have money, investing money for those things, and it was really difficult. Some things are needed, but couldn't be done by the state. But there's another thing also behind what could change this action. Also has to do with the power of private sector in Mexico, in federal government. We also try to lobby in federal government, also with the municipality, because we know it's not by law set, but if we don't do it, this is not going to work. So we have to try to move in all the levels, also with private sector, with people that is against, with people with specific interests. We have to, it's really hard, but it has to be done.
Perhaps you can help me out here a little bit. When I listen to how you describe the scope of the whole operation, it sounds a little bit like a complete parallel government, honestly, because you cover everything from health and education and basically everything that is normally the government would be in charge. So I'm struggling a little bit with the feeling that why create a whole parallel apparatus, which is not entirely democratically legitimized, if the structure is already there. Why not create a mechanism that supports the existing structure?
they didn't explain it well. That's the way it goes. It's a mechanism to help government establish this. We're only advising where they have to go. We couldn't define the business that are done, but at least having voice inside the government, we could help change those things. We know we're in a government. We don't want to be part of the government. People who work there doesn't want to be politically involved. The technical people who worked for developing a long-term planning, because at least the biggest problem that we have been saw in the past, every 6 years, vision changes. So one day we talk about this, and the next administration about here, here, and here. So that's why public companies try to invest, because it's also difficult to have legal and changing all the way or the route where you go and go state every 6 years. And it's worse in the municipality. They have 3 years. So every 3 years, the first year they develop a plan for the next administration. And the first year they start knowing what's happening. The second year they have to do it. The third year they have to look for a job. And it happens the same in the 6 years of the state administration. So that's why it's so difficult to have a continuity, at least in the goals. So this is why we're like, I can tell you, as I saw it, it's like, what I see, it's like a boat. And we're at the top, looking where to go. Behind, below, it's like, going with this, and we just say, we're going the other way, or here comes a hurricane, so we have to move. Because the other way, people in government, it's so demanding that you lost the long-term vision. But I think I didn't answer the question.
No, I guess it's probably a feeling of being slightly uncomfortable after this whole week with hearing so many times that basically Regiomontanos don't really trust their political system, it's just not working, so let's just come up with an alternative way. And then we have several projects and ideas how the private sector gets involved, and how Tec de Monterrey comes up with many ideas, which is great, but I'm slightly uncomfortable with some of the from a democratic standpoint.
Also, just people inside the government are also uncomfortable because it is a new government, it's independent, a lot of people from different topics, a lot of people that haven't been before in government. It could people could think that it's going to become better. It's the same language. Maybe you put an academic inside the government, and now it's like having headaches every day.
Here's the first a little bit the same duration maybe. So basically I know 2 different ways of managing the public affairs. One is the traditional public management, where you put the government in charge of doing all kind of operations, and you want them to really get engaged in doing things. Then the other one, which is coming up, is that you say that, okay, the government should not be involved in operating too much, but it's about setting policies and procedures that enables the private to do the same kind of jobs that the government was supposed to do. And this is the 2 trends that I generally understand. And then with these type of initiatives, my question is that you are getting back and putting the government in charge of operation again. You say that, okay, forget about the government setting the policies, there would be an additional level of governance structure that sets the policies, and then basically what I understand from your point is that we ask the government just to do this stuff. We plan and then the government should do, which we know is not the best solution because government is usually not good in operating. You know, we know that government is not designed to operate the stuff. Government is designed to set the policies, set the regulation, set the institutions, and then let the privates as much as they can. And there would be some failure parts that the government should take care. But when you get back to this, that okay, you know, someone else set the priorities, and then the only thing that the government has to do is basically operating, then I feel a little bit of steps backward. So what would be your reflection on this general concept?
I think it's the beginning of trying to rush where we need to be. We are behind a lot of years on what has to be now. So we're trying to rush a little bit so we can have the government do what government has to do. It's not, maybe I'm not saying it right. It's not only about private scale. It also, people who work here, it's half, it's more than half people from government, and not
Actually, the president of the council is the governor.
But not only the governor or the political ones. We invite the technical ones, people who have been here for 30 years, 20 years. So we really know what has to be done and what could be done. So that's why it maybe have this point and added with the strategic stuff of private sector. So we try to mix it and try to develop it. And we know at the end that we only can pass. We're not the government, and we didn't want to be part of the political system, and also we don't want to do what they have to do. It's their responsibility to make that work. Even if they, that's why it's
Then, you know, comes my second point on the strategic plan, because I'm coming from a business background, and there you have all these complications and headaches that whether doing a strategic planning for corporates is a solution to get to the final goals that you want or not. And there is quite a lot of discussions that the plans are not what gets you there. The planning processes is something, and then this distinction that someone makes a strategic plan and then someone is supposed to implement that strategic plan, this, at least in the corporate world, never works. And if it doesn't work in those relatively more simple situations, in public administration, then I'm quite concerned that this distinction that someone plans and then someone implements, that doesn't work.
8% of the in private sector of the strategic plans fail
Yeah,
because of implementation.
And then that's